Today, what we want to simulate is a just-in-time forgot password. What we simulated in the last session was a just-in-time login. So we showed the user's profile being created in Strivacity, those legacy attributes being populated. We showed the different components like the hooks, the journeys being used, and the migration strategies that we employ in order to do this securely. But now we want to show the case where um, the user does not remember their password, and we have to be able to do a just-in-time scenario with that. So let's go ahead and dive straight into the demo as our fundamentals are strong. I won't repeat myself here. Okay. And I'm going to simulate this with this exact same user we did in our previous demo. I'm going to go ahead and delete this user. As you can see, this user no longer exists in the directory if I refresh my page. Great. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to open an incognito page, load up my local host, and click on original app. Okay. Now I'm going to simulate this just like we're logging in for the first time. I enter my email on the login screen. Now, instead of signing with my password, I'm going to act like I don't know my password. So I'm going to click on forgot password. Now, since this user does not it doesn't have a password yet, we reset with a magic link. This is the way Strivacity promotes password reset. I'm gonna go ahead and just log in here. I won't have to blur this out because I will do this with passkey. So I'm gonna click on next. I'm just gonna sign in with a passkey here real quick. I did sign in here. Click on my mails, and we can see that we just got a link right here. Okay. Now I'm just gonna click on reset password here. Choose some dummy password right here. Now, before I create a passkey, there's a couple things that happened here. There's a couple hooks that got fired. What happened is instead of our before password validation hook getting fired, which again is the hook that gets fired if the user is signing in, right? But since the user is not signing in and they're resetting their password, a different hook got fired off. If we go ahead and go to the hook logs, we can see that right now it's 10:01 p.m. for me. So at field identification hook ran. Again, the same thing. It created the user's account with the migration status POC value as pending. We can see that before password reset here, it basically runs. Right? We validate the user is from legacy system. So we read the account, we validate that this user is from legacy. Right? And we validated that in our at field identification hook. And so what we do in this account is we actually read the user's profile, and they exist in Strivacity right now, so great. These right here are our our legacy attributes right here that we're getting, and we're populating those, right? So in our journey right here, we're going to populate those. So again, these are coming from the API running, and we're populating that in our journey right here. We can see that we're sending the admin access token, for the dynamic group membership to happen, and we're sending the payload keys for our journey to start. Now, really quickly, I'm going to show the journey here. We have an identical journey right here. And this journey is identical. It's a duplicate of the journey we had for sign-in. The only change is that in our custom code block right here, we are now going to handle this migration status POC from pending to completed in the before password persist hook, which means that once the user has actually put their password in and click next, meaning that the user has not dropped off the password reset flow, that's when we go ahead and confirm the password. But everything else stays the same. We convert the payload keys to local variables. We do the regex check. We persist it to Strivacity's profile. We do the dynamic group membership. If anything fails, we fail and stop the flow. Succeed, we continue on. Okay. I'm not going to save anything because I did not change anything in here. Okay. Um, so that's what's happening. Now I'm just going to create a passkey for this user. And the password has been successfully reset. Now, since this was a password reset, it's not going to ask us for MFA. So that's what I'm going to show in next. The user has now successfully reset their password. Okay. And now if I open in incognito again and I try logging in now, so this is now the user now they're now, they've reset their password, JIT, so our JIT forgot password ran, and now, they're gonna authenticate for the first time now. We can see that the flow continues and our MFA flow is now going to continue, right? Because the user needs to set up MFA. So again, we've already simulated this. I'm just going to do it real quick to show it working. Cool. And phone has been registered. Now I got to register for the Authenticator app. Again, just going to scan this code in the Authenticator app and enter my code right here. Click on confirm. Great. Authenticator app added. We already set the passkey and great. We get redirected to this flow. So this was a quick video on an add-on to just-in-time flow showing that if a user does not remember their password, they can still successfully reset their password. We're going to still populate all of their legacy attributes in from the API, and then we're going to run a journey that's very similar to the sign-in journey, which is going to save it to Strivacity's profile, run the dynamic group membership, and then in the before password persist hook, we're going to go ahead and update the migration status POC. Before I end off, I will show the hook right here, which ran right here. There's a couple hooks that ran. Let's first go over the before password persist. We can see here that uh, um, migration status POC, we do a get request and we read it. It exists on this path for the identity store and the value is pending. And we perform an update operation to change it from pending to completed and the status of that API was 200 and it proceeds with the password persist. Okay. So that means it's successful. We can see that our authenticator enrollments logs ran right here. I'm not going to dive into these. I will make a separate video diving into the hook that we have for before authenticator enrollment. And then we have our before ID token generation, which we will also dive into another video, which shows the key, the key claims that get populated in the token used for downstream access control. Hope this helped. In the next video, we will be showing bulk migration. Thank you so much.